Каждый вторник в 12:10 один из самых известных раввинов нашего времени, Манис Фридман, в прямом эфире отвечает на вопросы наших слушателей. Вы услышите мнение самой мудрой книги человечества – Библии, о самых сложных проблемах, стоящих перед современным миром. Присылайте ваши вопросы заранее на наш имейл info@rusa.fm или во время передачи по СМС 347 460 08 77.
Добрый день всем, кто сейчас настроен на радио USA. В эфире сегодня, так как это вторник, мы говорим «Thank God it's Tuesday», потому что с нами самый-самый светлый, самый мудрый раввин нашего времени, и я не перестаю это повторять, и не перестаю просто не верить нашему счастью, что у нас есть вот этот вот час пообщаться с ним и получить от него вот этот необыкновенный заряд энергии и света, который он нам дарит каждый вторник, а вообще всем остальным каждый день своей мудростью и своим пониманием жизни. И, в общем, вопрос, который я хочу задать ему сегодня, это как не потерять себя в этом очень-очень быстро меняющемся мире. Все знают и понимают, что уже за новостями не успеть следить, что у нас происходит. Все переворачивается буквально каждый день. У нас что-то новенькое, то, к чему мы были не готовы. Мы этому рады, но как себя не потерять в таком быстром темпе? Вот это то, что мы сегодня узнаем у Рабби Фридмана, и вот с нетерпением жду его ответа. Hello, Rabbi Manis Fridman. Hello, thank God it's Tuesday. And I am very happy at this opportunity to speak to you because the world is changing so rapidly. Things are becoming new. So many new things every day. It's impossible to follow the news anymore because there's so much of it. Can't get into it more than just read the headlines. So everything is changing so rapidly. And the big question is how not to lose ourselves in this extremely fast-paced world that we have embarked on very recently. And I think it's becoming faster and faster.
But we have to keep our eye on the morality. Everything else, will come and go. It doesn't really make much of a difference. But are we improving in morality? That is the only real concern. If we're improving in our morality, then we're going in a very good direction. If we're not improving, we're not going anywhere. And if we're going backwards in morality, then it's very scary. So there's always been this problem between politics and morality. It seems like people have this notion that politics can't really be moral. You can try to sound moral, but you can't. It's almost like, if we could be moral, we wouldn't need politics. I mean, if people were good, would we need politics? The problem is that we're not good, or we're not good at being good. So we need politics to protect everything from coming apart. That can't work. Politics will not hold the world together. It tears the world apart. It is not a substitute for morality. So to say, for example, the outrage, they're returning hostages who are no longer alive. Shouldn't there be an outrage? Shouldn't there be a very strong reaction to that? No, it's politics. This Shabbos they'll return these bodies, and next Shabbos they'll return the. What is this game? It's so upsetting. Why is there no morality to this political little game they're playing? I mean, the whole. Oh, Trump is now the president? Okay, we'll give back. What? That's why you're giving back, because Trump is the president? And what happened to the deserved punishment? So you give back and now you're okay? Now you're at tzaddik? It's really aggravating. So again, we need to heal. The Jewish people need to heal from the 2,000 years of persecution so that we can act normal and react normal according to our values. The babies that they kidnapped, they're returning the bodies. Why do they even still exist? They don't deserve to exist anymore. But politics dictates that this is how you do it. When politics dictates, we're in trouble.
Rabbi Fridman, is it politics that dictates the people who are still yelling out there, Free Palestine? Is that politics, or is that something else?
Those who organize it and actually pay people, that's definitely politics, and it's evil as can be. The innocent the innocent student, for example, who has no idea what the issues are even, but it sounds like a cause, so they are ready to serve the cause. Any cause is better than no cause. That's sad. That's a pity on them. And overnight, they can switch to another cause. So really, the world is begging that Jews take the lead. Stop following. Start dictating what is moral, what is right. There's an incredible commandment in this week's Torah portion. If you steal my cow and you get caught, the fine that you have to pay is you have to give me 5 cows. For stealing a cow, you have to give me 5 cows. If you steal a sheep, a lamb, and you get caught, you have to pay me 4 lambs. Why the difference? I still marvel at this, and I can't explain it. The reason you have to pay 5 cows is because that's a decent fine, and it discourages stealing cows. Because if you're so desperate for a cow, then obviously cows are important to you, so to lose 5 cows is just not worth it, and you won't do it. But why not 5 sheep? Listen to this. See, to steal a sheep, you have to carry it. So it's not so easy to steal a sheep. So the fact that you put in effort and you had to carry the sheep, you get a break. Just pay for 4 sheep.
Rabbi Fridman, I'm sorry, I also found out a fun fact that sheep by default, once you put her on your shoulders, pees on you. I learned this just yesterday, so maybe the embarrassment of that has something to do with it being a lesser value as well.
Yeah, well, even if it was that, you stole the sheep. Don't complain that it was heavy. You're not going to get a big fine because, that was heavy carrying the sheep. So it's like you already paid your dues It is so, you don't expect that kind of law. This is the law. You broke the law. Oh, you had to carry the sheep. What is this compassion on the criminal? In other areas, the Torah says judges may not be compassionate. You follow the law because that's the law. So, who knows morality? Who is more sensitive to the nuances of laws than the Jews? We have to be the authorities on morality, because we have not yet found any morality that makes any sense, that is consistent anywhere else. I mean, the Nazis, to use an extreme example, of course. Why did they do what they did? We were following orders. In that mentality, following orders was the highest moral behavior. That was moral. So if you're told to kill, you obey, because you're a good person. Good people obey commandments. And you were commanded to do this, so you did it. That's morality without Torah. And it's not something new from the 19th century or 20th century. When Avraham came down to Egypt with his wife Sarah, he said, "You're going to have to say you're my sister, because they don't believe in committing adultery. They're very religious here. They're very God-fearing. They would never commit adultery. So before they take you, they'll make sure you're a widow." And that was their morality. So I think morality should be left to the Jews.
That would be nice. And then, of course, the Jews need to study Torah to know the morality.
Or at least have the confidence of what they do already know. So speak up. Preach to the world.
We're trying. You're doing this constantly, and it's so much gratitude to you. I know more and more people are doing it, and that's pretty amazing. But Rabbi Fridman, we have something a little bit more immediate to ask you. This is like a wonderful big picture that hopefully will come to fruition as soon as possible, but we have something immediate to deal with on every day-to-day basis, and that is something you teach us all the time. Don't make life about yourself. But when everything is so fast-paced, it's very hard not to make things about yourselves, because it's my pressure, it's my relationship, it's my sustenance, it's my health, it's my way of dealing with everything that is going on right now, and everything is piling up. As we spoke, there's no certainty, there's no clear picture. You know, if 4 years ago, before COVID, everything had some sort of regiment. You know, you knew if you do certain things, if you put certain money away, if you have a retirement plan, you can invest into certain things. You know, you'll be okay when you retire, when you're older, how to educate your children. Now we pretty much know nothing. Okay, we don't know what the economy is going to be like, because everything is changing. The health situation now, our RFK is the new health head of Federal Health Department, and he's bringing a lot to the table, which we kind of knew. about, but now it's going to become revealed. So everything is changing, where it's going, what the consequences of it's going to be. It's very, very confusing. And the people are feeling the pressure. And I am speaking on behalf of what people feel like, because this is what I do. I get around and I talk to people, and people are feeling pressure, and those pressures are affecting health, affecting family, affecting their well-being, affecting their finances. Everything is being affected, and people are saying, it's my problem. It's my pressure. It's my health. Even the eggs, the state of the world is now in accordance to the price of the to the cost of the eggs, and I have to buy those eggs for my family. This is what people are saying. When we see each other, is like, did you see the price of the eggs? The world is going straight to hell.
I think the answer is implied in the question itself. When everything is chaotic, and I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, I can't be me. When the problems are so global, so universal, the me can't compete. So, given all of these confusing, disorienting surprises, what in me is strong enough to handle this? So if I try to handle it, I'll just get depressed, overwhelmed, frightened. The only real solution is, okay, so what's the right thing? The moral code is much stronger than the individual. So when things go really haywire, don't think you can handle this by being you. The you is way too fragile. So it's precisely because the issues are so unusual, unfamiliar, that the me is completely helpless. So what alternative do I have? When the me fails, what do I turn to? The vast eternal plan that is bigger than me and even bigger than the problems that seem to be out of control. Interesting, somebody made a comment. One of the predictions about the times before Moshiach is that there will be no coin left in our pockets. One of the things Trump wants to do is stop coining pennies. There will be no more pennies in anyone's pocket. Or that way of saying, you're going to be left without a penny. It's cute, but it's a healthy way of thinking. Never mind me. I'm lost. I'm helpless. I'm overwhelmed. But what are the big rules that govern creation, existence, destiny? It's a very good time to ask, what is our destiny? Where is all this going to lead? Not for me, for the big picture. That's how we've always survived these impossible situations. And we've been there many times. I mean, I can imagine when we were expelled from Spain. The confusion, the disillusionment. We had become so comfortable, we were so popular, we were so welcomed. And all of a sudden, all of that disappears. How do you handle that? by being yourself. The self is overrun and trampled on the ground. If we don't have something much bigger than ourselves and the problems, then we are truly helpless. But we've never been helpless. It's a strange thing to say, no? Even during the Holocaust, we were not helpless because we survived it and outlived them. Obviously, we were not helpless. Turns out Nazism was helpless. And why weren't we helpless? Because there's a bigger picture. And in the bigger picture, we win. As an individual, I can't fight this. So all of it, every little detail is all leading to Mashiach. And Mashiach means the world is recalculating and getting itself back on track. That could be scary. Getting off track was very frightening, disorienting, confusing. Well, getting back on track can be just as frightening because it's not familiar anymore. Any radical change is, it shakes your foundations for what you think you could trust, what you've been trusting. So even when things become dramatically better, you got to buckle up. So you can look at what's happening now as going off track, or all of this is putting us back on track. So how do we know which one it is? I think it's a very simple calculation. How could we be getting off track? That means we were on track until today? Definitely not. We were so off the track. You can't possibly think that we're going off now. And that's the whole point of cleaning up the swamp, cleaning up the overspending, the corruption, the greed, the lies. That was on track? So there's no question that whether we're doing it expertly, seamlessly, or we're doing it awkwardly and like amateurs, but we're going back on track. Off the track is getting old and tiresome. We don't want it anymore. We don't like it. We can't accept it. We're going back on track. It's scary. But don't forget where we're going.
Rabbi Fridman, I think everybody has a perspective of where we're going, or at least becoming more and more hopeful of that, because things are looking up, things are looking good, things are making more sense where the decision makers are. But we are so small. I mean, we have shrunk so much because we see now how helpless we are and how much we really, I don't want to say matter, but how little we are, how little we can do to make changes in this big world where people can just, in one day change the whole course of things. And it's happening. We see it. So being so small, feeling so helpless, still having all the pressures of survival in this world, they're maybe not the same as World War II, but thank God, but but there are still very real pressures of making a living, keeping a family together, being healthy, and they just take a different form, but they're all still very, very real and very difficult to handle.
There's no question that the same reaction that we have to world affairs, I can't control this, I can't fix this, I have no voice whatsoever, but there's a bigger picture which is stronger than the problem, will outlast the problem, and if I go with that, I'll be okay. Now apply that same thinking to a good marriage, raising children, same thing. We thought we could handle it just by being ourselves. And we were actually told that. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Validate yourself. If you're strong, then you can handle anything. That is so foolish. I mean, the biggest and the strongest man, one little bullet, never mind, one little stone from a slingshot, and you're finished. You can't rely on your own strength in big issues. So anything bigger than you, the you cannot handle. So how do we handle most things in life that are bigger than me? Like my family. It's bigger than me. Well, if I was a mensch, everything would be good. No. Because there are other people involved here. It's not just you. So yeah, you should be a mensch, but that's going to make everybody else into a mensch. Everybody's got their own free will, their own agendas, their own traumas, whatever. Your being a mensch is good, but not big enough, powerful enough to change the world. So it was very reassuring to hear Trump say we need to bring religion back in America. It's a little scary. Like, which religion are you talking about? The religion that says blow yourself up and you'll have virgin? You didn't mean that. Which religion? And the word really is not religion. The word is God. And that we can bring back because God used to be a big player in the creation of the United States of America. If we could bring that back, that would be good. And why do we need to bring it back? I hate to say this, but it's true. The problems are much bigger than Trump. We can't forget that. He cannot solve the problems. He can do the right thing, he can try, he can say, he can, but are the problems going to get solved? This is way beyond his control. So it's not Trump, it's the values that he represents that are universal, that are eternal, that are the most powerful force in the universe. I hope that's what he means when he says bring back religion.
Rabbi Fridman, a lot of his team are saying really, really good things. I mean, as you probably figured out, and I hope I'm right, I'm a big fan of RFK. And just very recently, he said what you've been saying all along, that we need a purpose. When we get up in the morning, we need a purpose. And we need the bigger purpose than ourselves. So we need to do. So everybody's having a really, really good and healthy message out there. And this is a cute one. I think it was in Oregon that they are presenting a bill into Senate of $10,000 fine for wasting semen. That's pretty biblical. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird because they're doing it to kind of prove a point. This is a retaliation against birth control and abortion, to say if women have to control themselves, so do men. But anyway, it's aligning with Torah regardless.
It just proves a point. Yeah. If people think that's morality, leave morality to the Jews. Please stop trying. You can build rocket ships and go to the moon, but leave morality to the Jews for everybody's benefit.
But what
is that not the most ridiculous, horrible thought?
I got excited until I read the whole thing. First, I'm like, okay, what is Torah coming to life now? And the laws are being... but then really it was a spoof on something else. So unfortunately, no, it was not. it wasn't good. Rabbi Fridman, we are in this situation right now where we have to see the bigger picture, not to lose ourselves in the small things, which are really not small things. It depends how we look at it. If we go above it, it's small, but if we're in it, it's huge. So, and I mean all the problems and all the confusion and all of the things that we need to deal with in our day-to-day life. If we're in it, it's huge. If we're above it, it's not as bad. But how many people have this ability to constantly have this bigger picture in mind and understand that, usually this is the problem. We're always in it. We're never above it. And this is something important, won't we lose touch with reality if we're constantly above it? Because we have to be in it to work and live. We have to be in it to have. Do you understand my question?
Yeah. But being above it means you determine the events rather than be victims of the events. That's the difference. If you're in it, you're the victim. If you're above it, you've got the steering wheel. You can take life or reality wherever you want. So being above it doesn't mean being indifferent. It means being in charge. Not because of personal talent or strength, but because it's the right way. So if you follow the path of what is right, then things get right. So it's not that you're becoming irresponsible or indifferent or letting things go. No, you're determining the direction of the world. And that's really what morality is. It's not be quiet, don't hurt anybody, and you're good. No. Morality means don't let the world take you where it wants. You take the world where you want. Fill the world, as the Torah says. Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the world and conquer it. Don't let the world go in whatever direction it wants. It's like conquering gravity. Don't let the world drag everything down. Take control and make things go up. That's the shortest summary of everything.
That's amazing, and absolutely everybody should follow this advice, because otherwise we'll get sucked into the everyday hustle and bustle, which does put a damper on things a lot of the times. Rabbi Fridman, the teachings are so excellent, and I try to follow them myself all the time. And I know where we should be, okay? And there's such big struggle to get there, okay? Because there's not a lot of us that understand where we should be. Not a lot of us have that knowledge. And being where we are, that is such a big separation. And it's becoming very, very difficult because, again, I'm also in both circles. I'm in the circles of people who are living day-to-day life and do not learn morality and values and pretty much thrive. Okay, Tanya, let's put it this way. They don't know the teachings of Tanya. They don't know that that we can make a difference. What you teach, teachings of the Rebbe, teachings of all our ravvim. Those are such incredible teachings, and they take us so high up. And we know where we have to be as a world, but we're still here. And that is right now such a big rip. It's so frustrating. And I see it in religious circles that people are right now in a very frustrated state, because we're not where we should be. We know what is better, that kindness, that light, that positivity, that optimism. That is something we are going towards, but we need to bring this whole world up, and it's just we're not there yet, and it's an extremely frustrating process. I'm sorry, I'm putting out something that I'm feeling and that I see other people are feeling.
We are not there yet. That's absolutely right. But we are moving in the right direction. There are many, many more people who are thinking clearly. They don't all have a big microphone, so you're not going to hear from them. But in numbers, I would, just to put a number on it, I would say 80% of the population of the world is thinking clearly.
That's a lot.
It's only 20% that disrupt everything. And many of the 20% are being recruited back to sanity, and so it is very encouraging. It's just taking so long. And now that we do see clearly, when it doesn't happen, it's much more frustrating. Like what part of real don't you understand? Why does it take time to just be real? Shouldn't that come natural? But we've been scheming and manipulating, thinking that that's the only way we're going to get anywhere. We've learned by now that it doesn't work. It makes things 10 times worse. But you got to break your habits and change your... If you don't have Torah, the way you say it, if you don't have Tanya, the change is going to be painful. The change for the better is going to be painful. But it's good. It's better. And that's why using your microphone to talk about these things, the Rebbe sending emissaries in advance, knowing that this is going to happen. The Rebbe prepared cities and states and countries with Chabad houses and Chabad rabbis, and the message that the Rebbe introduced to the world, literally, it was a brand new thinking, is becoming mainstream, which is what the Rebbe was hoping for. So just a little more sanity on the scale of sanity, the scales will tip, and we'll be in a very good place.
And
so I think I mentioned this before. You go on a flight for 8 hours, 12 hours, and you settle down and you're in for the trip, and you're fine. Then it lands, the plane lands, and you're told that the walkway, or the whatever that's called, there's no one there to drive. They're waiting for someone to come in, and you're so upset because it's going to be 5 more minutes. After 8 hours, you can't tolerate that 5-minute delay. Why? Because we landed already. Now what? We're so close to Mashiach that every minute that Mashiach is not here is so much more frustrating than ever. You still don't know? You're still saying those silly things? You still believe in politics? Come on, we've landed already. The war is over. So it's yeah. The more you feel the progress, the more the delay is upsetting.
Yes, it is.
Now what?
Because we know how it should be, and we're not there yet.
Exactly.
And that is very frustrating. So maybe we should just let others know how it should be as soon as possible, because people really need to know this, need to know how good is. We don't know it for sure yet ourselves, but we have at least an idea, and has to happen very, very soon.
Yeah, amen.
Rabbi Fridman, thank you so much. And by the way, I did take your advice and registered website, Mashiach Microphone. So I did it, but we'll see where it's going to take us. Hopefully it's going to take us exactly where it needs to take us. Rabbi Fridman, thank you so much. Thank you for your wisdom, your positivity, your optimism that you're helping. It's very interesting that in these times of positive change, we need that support more than ever. We would think otherwise, but no. In this positive time, it's actually even more needed than in the negative times, because now there's more confusion. So thank you very much.
Well, when insanity disappears, what are we going to replace it with? It's so scary.
Yeah.
You mean I can't be crazy? Then what?
So thank you for keeping us steady there. I really appreciate it, and really, really hoping to just hear good news, spread good news, and get good news as much as we can. Thank you so much for this time, Rabbi Fridman. Looking forward to a lot more wisdom from you. Thank you for everything that you do for us and for everybody in the world. Thank you. И всем, кто нас сейчас слушал, огромное вам всем спасибо. Да, живем мы в непростые времена, настоящее китайское проклятие, чтобы вы жили в интересное время, времена интересные, но, тем не менее, в них надо оставаться как бы светлыми, позитивными, оптимистичными, не теряться, видеть, что мы идем к чему-то более... к чему-то намного больше, чем мы сами и чем то, что мы видим сейчас вокруг нас происходит. Так что давайте с этим оптимизмом пойдем вперед и поможем другим держаться, как мы уже сегодня сказали в этой передаче, выше. Всего вам доброго.